As we journey from the inaugural Pro Tour stop in Florida, our travels lead us to a familiar landscape, the banks of the Brazos River in Waco, Texas. Here, amidst tranquil surroundings, lies the stage for the Waco Annual Charity Open, a tournament steeped in memorable victories, legendary throws, and the pursuit of perfection. Navigating through a labyrinth of winding woods and gusty fairways, players are met with a formidable challenge known simply as the Beast. This course has long been heralded as a test of technical mastery where precision reigns supreme. However, this year, Waco embarks on a new chapter. With different styles of play converging, the competition promises to push the boundaries of every player's skill set. Will we witness the emergence of a new prodigy? Or will history repeat itself? A new era of disc golf in Waco, Texas begins now.
Hello and welcome to the Waco Annual Charity Open presented by Prodigy Discs. I'm hyped after that. I forgot what it's like to be Texas hyped. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the two hot geese.
Honk.
Really feeling the lack of a cowboy hat right now, strongly.
I know. This is our first DGPT Plus event of the season. It's 4 rounds. We've got an extra new course this year on a golf course, Lake Waco. But we get to start today at the good old Beast.
Classic. Kristin Tattar, last year here, 78% fairway hits, which is great. The first 8 of the 12 holes are very, very wooded in the front. Circle 2, 66%, giving herself a lot of chances, birdieing a third of the holes.
We're going to watch Chantel Budinsky as well. She won a Disc Golf Pro Tour Silver Series last year in New York, 76% of Circle 1X putting. Hit Circle 2 putting 50% of the time. We love that.
Yeah, she's a solid putter. Hope to see some big ones. Valerie Mandujano coming back. She won Idlewild last year, but didn't really play a ton because of an ankle injury. 77% Circle 1X putting, hitting 18% of her Circle 2 and landing in the fairway also 73% of the time.
Eveliina Salonen, our first event winner at Chess.com Open in Florida a couple weeks ago. She's hit 42% of Circle 1 in regulation for birdie. Wow. And she won this event, in
2020, I think.
So a returning champion.
And she was looking so confident out in Florida.
Yes, she was. And just an absolute machine on getting to the green. This is a perfect hole to start the round out. A little bit of a challenge with that tight fairway off the tee pad. There's that OB really, really close. It's pulled off, or actually I think the line is right on the advertisement wall here.
It's actually behind it. It used to be in front of it.
35 a.m. FPO card. First on the box, representing Discraft, Valerie Mandujano.
We had a little order mix-up, it seems.
Yeah, the line used to be pulled off that wall, but now the wall will keep you in bounds, which is interesting.
Very friendly.
Also, they cleared this way out. I don't think you used to be able to see the basket.
Yep. And the hyzer is a lot more open as well if you do want to take to the sky. There's that OB line on the left side too. You can see Valerie keeping it low.
Second on the tee, representing Innova Champion Discs, Eveliina Salonen.
We didn't have a whole lot of wind to start the round out. We had some rain in the forecast, but thankfully none that affected the FPO rounds. But a nice calm morning.
Oof. Eveliina catches an early tree.
Third on the card, representing latitude 64, Kristin Tattar.
Kristin gave us a break in Florida, but here she is. She's back. Going forehand off the tee. You don't see this as much, but it's a really solid play, especially with how much they've cleared it out. That's a common mistake, kind of low. Just play for par.
And rounding out our card, representing Prodigy Discs, Chantel Budinsky.
Chantel representing Prodigy, who is the tournament sponsor for Waco this year. The Beast is one of the oldest courses on tour. I think we played it for the last at least 8 years, I believe, in an assortment of 8 tiers, national tours, and eventually Disc Golf Pro Tour events. It's one of the shorter courses we do play, but it's nice because it has a really organic mix of open holes and wooded holes. It's just about 7,500 feet.
I think for FPO specifically, it's just kind of a perfect challenge. Great mix.
Yep. Definitely feels like a breath of fresh air after chess.com. Oh, Kristin just running it.
Yeah, why not?
From out
With a forehand, huh?
Yeah, outside circle 2 towards out of bounds. Wild. We love that.
Some other people to note, Ella Hansen was runner-up last year. Lost it, I believe, on hole 18 going for it. And she took second at chess.com, so we'll see how she does here. There's a lot of strong competitors, obviously. Stat Mando giving us some stats here that I forgot to read, so I'm just going to skim them now. So, Mad, why don't you take over the commentary, and I'll see if there's anything interesting.
Heck yeah. I think par is a pretty common score on this hole. It did average a little bit over par. It's really difficult to go for this one big because it's your hole 1 jitters plus really tight OB, so par feels fine here.
Whoa, guess the first year that this tournament was around.
Oh, I'm going to guess 2000.
1996. Good
Wow.
guess. As a B tier. Mm-hmm. Wild. It was DGPT in 2017. Lisa Fakis has won this the most times, 4. Juliana Korver's won this event 3 times. Des Redding 3 times. Paige Pierce twice. And that's pretty typical, even par on hole 1.
Yeah, this whole course is a lot different from the Olympus disc golf course from last week. We're going to see way more birdies, even on the hardest holes.
Hole 2, super gettable. Par 4, 531 feet. OB is delineated on the right by the sidewalk. And there actually is another, I want to say cart path, but it's wrong. Sidewalk on the left that comes and wraps around. And you can find if you get a big flare skip. Usually, yeah, you can see the landing zone here. You're throwing kind of a flexing backhand that fades back towards the middle. You can make a backhand work, but often you're left with a forehand approach shot, just depending on where you land in the trees here.
Waco's really good. A lot of the landing zones have the hills right in the middle. You can see Valerie throwing over it right now. You can find your way there, and it can make the approach a lot more difficult just because you have that weird slanted footing.
I always wonder if this is one of those ones where maybe we could see an eagle at 531 with something just crazy and a big
like
putt.
Throw in, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Eveliina's way out there.
A circle 3 putt, if you will.
Like a big one.
I did notice this year that the low-hanging branches are, in fact, hanging lower than ever. Everything's pretty green. Last year, I think they might have just had a longer winter, but definitely the sides of the fairways and the woods are a lot thicker. The grass is nice and lush, and everything's looking really pretty and spring-like.
Chantel choosing to do the backhand, you can see why it's a bit riskier to go hyzer around those trees. It really calls for kind of a straight, kind of turning right and hyzer shot to get it there. Again, the forehand is definitely the most open play. Super smooth from Valerie, as always.
Yep, circle 2 is a great place to be. There's plenty of room on the backside of this basket that she can run that with no fear. Kristin stands still straddling around that center fairway tree and getting it up inside the circle.
Yeah, again, not too windy here. Kind of the reverse wind as normal, which is interesting and will come into play when we come back out on hole 13 later. Eveliina with a great backhand approach shot, gets a bullseye hit. Ooh.
Oh!
Yeah, Chantel's a really good putter and usually gives everything a run from distance. Yes! Low left pocket.
Getting this round started with a slow mez.
I'm glad we got to see her face on that one. Yeah. She's like, oh, did I miss it?
This is one of the holes that you really want to get. It's one of the easiest birdies on the course, almost half the field, 22 out of 48 competitors getting it today.
Kristin just outside the circle, misses high.
And look at this beautiful view of the Brazos with some really nice big walls of limestone. A birdie for Eveliina with the scenery.
I talked to a local about how you pronounce the river name, and it just does not feel natural to say Brazos.
Absolutely not.
Brazos.
But I will commit to it.
Yeah. You sound much more natural than I do. I congratulate you.
Hole 3, another birdie opportunity, 320 feet, slightly uphill. You can see this little kind of berm style elevation change right down the middle. You want to take the right side. The drone's going right through the middle gap. I would not recommend it because look at this final gap that you have to hit before getting to the green. Going in early is fine too. You can find yourself a circle 2 putt if you would like to go that way, but a big hyzer is the way. And by big, I mean low and flat, because those low hanging branches, I forget this year, are so low.
Well, and you have these little trees they planted last year, so you have to throw right in between them. Mm-hmm. They are mean.
They are mean.
So by big hyzer, you actually mean something totally different.
Yep.
Okay, just
low,
so we're clear.
Flat, linear.
Just barely above the trees, but below the branches.
Finish. Yeah.
With a hyzer finish.
Eveliina,
that's almost it.
Yeah, tangoing with those branches. I feel like if you could number how many times those got hit today, it's probably astonishing.
Ooh, Kristin does it.
Yeah, pushes the ceiling perfectly.
Yeah, it's exactly the shot you described the second time. Chantel pulls this one a little straight.
You see that pretty regularly. She'll be in circle 2, but it'll be a very elevated putt. One change from last year is on hole 2 and hole 3, we had elevated baskets last year. This year, they're both nice and low, which we love.
3's always been elevated since I can remember playing it.
I'm thinking they probably put them on the new Lake Waco golf course.
Yeah.
The elevated ones.
That would make sense. I didn't think about it at all. I just said, huh.
Yay.
Mm-hmm. Valerie lays up for an easy par. This one's, I don't want to call this one a bonus, but you definitely want to be 1 under going into the difficult hole 4. Like you're trying to get one of these things. 2's definitely the easiest, but this one feels so gettable as well. Eveliina's still looking confident in her putting. Okay, I'm going to start paying attention to discs now. Kristin threw a tournament fortress with a really great drive. Comes up short on the birdie bit, though. Short and low.
So Kristin is my accidental neighbor at the Airbnb. And they got in on Monday night late and then crammed in practice rounds on Tuesday and Wednesday. So long travel day, probably still dealing with some
jet lag?
Jet lag, yeah, coming across the pond. I just think it's crazy to think about traveling from Europe to a tournament like that closely.
No, I think she should be throwing better. Just kidding.
What is the simplest way to improve your disc golf game? The answer, learn from the very best. Paul Ulibarri, Simon Lizotte, Ezra Aderholt, and Holland Hanley. They're not just players, they are your elite coaches guiding you every step of the way. The Power Disc Golf Academy is the premier online disc golf academy with over 150 on-demand lessons that are specifically designed to improve your skills right now. So what are you waiting for? Join today at powerdga.com.
Here we go, hole 4. You haven't played this course if you haven't messed up this hole. You are throwing probably just a putter off the tee. You can get aggressive and throw a mid or even a fairway. You just want to land at that first corner, but you can get all the way to the second corner and then set yourself up for a birdie shot. But you can see all of these little trees. The drone is zigzagging around. There is OB on the left, but it's really hard to find. You can find the water on the right near the pin if you're not careful on your approach. Check out Missy Gannon.
Oh,
Look at the backhand. That's so difficult.
yeah, no sidearm needed.
Most ladies going to be playing this for a par. Definitely a bonus birdie. If you are off on either side, it is a nightmare. Like, that's going to be maybe okay if she can pitch around the next corner.
Yeah, but kind of going to have to settle for par at this point.
Definitely going to have to settle for par.
This is a hole that in the past we've had it as a par 5,
Yeah.
and it was one of the easiest holes on the course. So, but as a par 4, it's going to play as a harder hole. So, just kind of that weird in between. Regardless of the par, it is a challenging hole, and that middle tree can just make or
Wreck
break
you.
you. Yeah.
Eveliina had a great shot with the Star Cayman. She looked like a really aggressive shot. She might even have a chance to get a forehand for a circle 2 look
Ooh,
from there.
look at this.
That's huge.
That's great.
And that's an aggressive shot from Chantel. It's an F3 750. Don't know what the number means. Sorry.
And that's the plastic. And being on that side of the fairway is great too, being on the left side, because it opens up that second shot that you're seeing Kristin flex right now.
Yeah, that was huge. You do not see very many women throwing the fairway driver.
No.
It is risky. This is the more common, like, that's a great drive, but it was the conservative, drive off the
And
tee.
here, Eveliina's having to make a choice to take this outside route, which she chooses, or go inside and try to get all the way to the basket. But you see a ton of circle 2 putts on this hole.
Yeah. I think outside definitely has more room, but inside, as you said, can get you there a little bit easier if you nail it.
That big majestic tree.
Has seen thousands upon thousands
Yes.
of discs. So just look at it. Valerie's third now, chooses the inside gap. Nice,
Wow.
low, skippy. Wow.
That was
great.
so good.
Wow.
She's way down there.
She can see it. That is just... I would love to have that drive. Wow. And a good approach to boot. Kristin with a nice touchy sidearm approach to nearly bullseye.
Wow, only one person got to circle 1 in regulation.
Chantel?
Yeah.
Wow.
She was the only one.
Wow. And to do it on feature card, I mean, I bet she's nervous. Dang.
Oh, man.
Still cool. Par's still good.
Easy par feels great here.
And looks like we're going to escape everyone scrambling well. A few more feet into the rough and it can turn into a pretty bad hole.
There were only 2 birdies on this hole today.
Circle 2 putts.
Holland Hanley and Missy Gannon.
Nice. Little left side for Eveliina.
You can see that river right there on the right side. And that it is maybe 5 feet before it drops off, and you can have rollaways that find that water quickly.
Yeah, I've been down there. What a drive. Highlight for sure. Missy again, 3 down through 4.
Yeah.
Dang, girl.
Missy and Holland both just stringing together some birdies. Lisa Fakis, a Texas native. Moving on to hole 5, 264 feet, but uphill, so it plays a little bit longer than that. A really nice, tight, wooded fairway. We love it. Lots of low-hanging branches, again, so you can't just put something up in the sky. You do have to go low and linear. You see a lot of people hitting this magical hill and anti-skipping up into the circle. Being off the fairway on either side is really, really difficult to recover from. So if you're going to mess up, I think low and closer to the edges of the fairway is the way to go.
Magic hill.
Let's watch Missy on hole 5.
Oh, absolutely parked.
Okay, just parking 2 in a row. No big deal.
Valerie going first here with an ESP Cicada. Gets caught up, but kicked down in the middle. This is, man, who said this today? Did Paige say this? She's like, this is the hardest, easiest hole. Yeah. Like, it is an easy hole. Hardest, easy hole?
I think, yeah. I don't know. The Beast is really good at that game.
Mm-hmm.
It just, 264, anything under 300 feet, you're like just licking your
dial it
chops.
up, yeah.
But none of them are gimmies.
Kristin throws the forehand with her fusion. Fallon gets it inside the circle.
I like the forehand play.
Ooh. Chantel grip blocks to the right. Gets, honestly, a good way through. She might be able to scramble out of there. Oh, she kicks down. Great.
Really nice forehand approach. That looked great. Right up and on top of the hill. God, I could watch Valerie throw backhand approaches all day.
I was just thinking that.
It's so
smooth.
Yeah, it's so
It's like controlled and powerful.
uh-huh.
There she is. Great putt. Just took a couple to get warmed up.
Mm-hmm. Eveliina stacks another birdie on her scorecard as well. There were 9 birdies on the day today out of 48.
Super good putt from Kristin there. Finds herself under par. Missy and Holland staying strong. 4 down through 5. That's
how you want to start out at the Beast.
Yeah.
And it's there. It's there for everyone.
It is. Especially on the front.
Mm-hmm.
Hole 6 is a par 3. You're licking your chops, as Madison said, 267. This is a difficult one, though. You can go backhand or forehand. I think the forehand is more forgiving because if you hit a tree on the left, it'll kick towards the right and vice versa. And the left side is definitely worse for the backhand if you get that kick. I would say like backhand putter or mid-range flip up that turns is really common. And then for the forehand, I would say maybe more like a fairway driver.
Mm-hmm. Watch Eveliina attack this hole 6. Pushing that back wall like you have to, but just a little bit too straight. She actually gets tangled up in one of those trees, but it'll be a really easy up and down. Kristin gets around the corner tree as well, but because she didn't push that back corner, she gets tangled up early, still in circle 1. The backhand play is rare on this hole 6. I love that, but
do you think so?
Huh?
I've seen a lot of backhand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's just riskier. But, I mean, not everyone's... Oh,
okay.
Chantel gets a little lucky on that right side. She's going to be thrilled. I wonder if she knows it got all the way down there. I think a lot of people throw the backhand. Like, our field still... Not everyone has a forehand, though. Most do at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a touchy one.
Yeah, and you can see as soon as you get off the fairway how difficult scrambling is. There's just so many perfectly placed trees that there's not really many open gaps. Eveliina barely off the fairway. But she finds a way down there. Just a nice little jump putt.
Oh, yes. Okay. Do we get a second slow mez for Valerie?
Nice par save. No slow mez, but
Dang.
we'll slow mez in our hearts.
Yeah, always. What a putt from Valerie.
Kristin just inside the circle coming up low. And Chantel with a sneaky little birdie in there.
It's almost when you're nervous, though, you're like, oof, am I going to get a bad kick later?
Yeah. Giveth and taketh away is always into effect at the Beast.
Whoa. Okay, so I was just looking at Evelina's win in 2020, which was when COVID hit, and they canceled the third round, so they only played 2 rounds.
Oh, she was a 2-round winner.
Yeah,
An asterisk win.
Also, she won, it looks like, with two downs, and we are going to see better scores than that today. It just shows how much the whole field has improved. Like 2 down could even be outside the top 10 potentially.
I agree. Moving on to hole 7. Got to get past this Mando, but that is not the only trouble. Look at this tiny gap that you have to hit. It's about 150 feet off the tee pad, and you are definitely worried about it. Ideally, you want to throw something straight that lands more on the right side of the fairway ultimately, but you can hyzer something out into that field as well, whatever you want. The further left your drive lands, the more you can't see the basket. So you have to throw a blind approach through that second narrow gap that enters into this little gully area. Let's watch Ella attack hole 7. Barely makes it out of the gap. You can see that right side corner where people get tangled up. She's just before it, just past the Mando.
Ooh, I think that's an MD1 that died one.
Wow.
What a shot.
So good.
Yeah.
She's just outside bullseye.
Scramble birdie, kind of.
Dang. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, that second shot was unbelievable. Chantel kind of squeaks out the gap. Eveliina nearly gets around that final tree, gets a pretty bad kick to the right.
Yeah, that is classic on this hole. That right side corner can just eat you.
Perfect shot from Kristin Tattar.
She's way out to the left side. But
I
far
like it
enough-
over there.
Yeah, far enough back that she'll be able to approach, no problem.
I prefer it because you can throw a hyzer instead of a straight shot.
I prefer the straight shot.
Well, we don't always have to agree.
Yeah.
In fact, our listeners probably think we never agree.
Valerie kind
Whoa.
of, pinballing her way out of the gap. She's going to be way left, and hopefully she is liking the hyzer shot.
Yeah, well, that's not where I'm trying to land, to be fair.
Eveliina does a nice little, not pitch out, but a nice out to the middle of the fairway. She'll be able to get up and down for a par.
Chantel has to throw more of an anhyzer, and it looks like it's just early and not enough turn. It can be a little tough in there.
Oh, yeah. It can be brutal in there. Perfect.
Gosh,
Wow.
I could also just watch her throw those all day.
Unfortunately, the ground is pretty hard pan in that area, so she skips to about circle's edge deep.
Eveliina attempting to save par here. That's looking great. Nice slow speed disc. Catches the dirt in a little puff and near bullseye hit. And then the classic Kristin throwing a forehand with a harp where most people would throw backhands. Gets a little caught up.
Yeah, she's going to be at the bottom of the goalie. It's fine down there, though. The putts are super makeable.
Yeah, as long as you don't miss low and get a roll away from hitting cage. Oh, you liked it.
I thought it was going in.
That's a real gasp.
I know. Oh, Kristin doesn't have a putt. She went a little more to the left than I thought.
Did she just hit the band? That's a putt.
That's a putt.
What a sweet shot. And she stays close. Dang.
Oh, my gosh.
Valerie worked hard for that par. What a scramble.
That putt is terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
%35% of the field getting the birdie on hole 7. We love to see it. Yeah, 17 out of 48 competitors.
That's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, even from just 4 years ago, so many women able to birdie these holes. And they've cleared out some of the rough, but not enough to account for those numbers. It's just great to see the women's field evolving.
Yeah, and our lead card, you can see how many they're leaving out there right now. Eveliina, the best on the card, is 2 down, but you can see,
There's Missy at 5.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities that they're just not quite getting. I feel like we could easily see a 10 down out here.
I wonder what the best score is out here. Hole 8 is a par 3, 213 feet. Should be easy, right? It's another one that I think the forehand is the safer shot, but it's kind of a hyzer flip straight forehand. You don't want to fade too much to the right. You can see the pin is perched on a left to right sloping hillside. The backhand does work, but again, if you kick a right side tree into the left, you are kicking yourself. It is so awful over there. You can just throw straight too. I feel like this hole baits you into trying to curve to the right.
Backhand is definitely a viable play here. Chantel keeps it a little lower than you want, but it gets some good slides right outside circle 1. She will have a little bit of a scary putt there. It drops off pretty decently behind the basket, and it can make for tricky comeback putts because there's
really can.
Bushes and vines and all kinds of Texas woods.
Brambles. Eveliina and Kristin both finding the right side trees. Valerie choosing backhand. No one quite doing it. It's harder than it looks.
Yeah, even if I hit one of these early trees, I don't get really frustrated on this hole because it's such a tight fairway that you're like, you win some, you lose some here. It's just one of those holes that you can't get angry if you don't hit because it's like,
It's a good attitude.
It really is a hard little fairway to hit.
Yeah, I don't know. At 213 feet, I'm definitely a little mad at myself. Whoa, I have no idea where this is.
Yeah, she kicked way right.
Wow.
Not bad.
That's great. Oh, man, this is definitely a death putt.
Running it.
Yeah, you can see she keeps it a little too low, and that's going to be a tricky, maybe not tricky, but a significant comebacker. Chantel for her birdie attempt. Yeah, nice. I was hoping we'd see her make some good putts, and here's her first Jomez.
Look at her smiling, in her backswing.
She smiles pretty much every shot.
Yeah, just loving the putting green.
I prefer to have my eyebrows furrowed and just look like nothing's ever been harder in my life.
Focused.
Yeah. I feel like people really respond well to that. No, but she does. You can just tell her joy.
Yeah. Kristin also going to can her putt, but this is for a really nice par save. Valerie from Brambleton. Nice bogey save. That was a tough putt and very, very steep uphill, more than it looks.
I feel like it'd be Brambleton. A little bit of switching up here. Chantel now 2 down with Eveliina. They're in a huge tie for 5th. Valerie slides back to even par. And look at the difference between 2 down to even.
And moving on to one of the more iconic holes at the Beast, hole 9. It's a par 5 at 519 feet. You think, haha, what? But look how tight this fairway is. If you're throwing a perfect shot, you're getting down into this quote-unquote bowl, as we call it. And it allows you to have this perfect right angle, easy shot up to the green with almost no trees to worry about and just super wide gaps. It does drop off a little bit on the left side and behind the basket, so you can find yourself in some tricky putting situations if you go deep on your approach to the green. But really, you're just trying to get past that one middle tree here.
I like to aim right at it because you can't hit what you're aiming for, right?
Totally. I love that game plan.
Squared it today.
She's good, folks.
Oof. Eveliina looked like she was trying to go really big. We've seen some eagles here in the past. That looked like kind of an eagle play.
So you can see Kristin throwing it a little bit more nose down here. That's the way, because there's that first tree that kind of arcs over the fairway. That one is the one that gets in your way if you're trying to go huge here. So
yeah, which it looked like everyone is. Those were literally all fairway drivers or
I love that.
A regular old driver. Ooh, man, Valerie not able to pitch out at all.
The beast being the beast. not letting Valerie out of its clinches.
Gosh, the double pitch out is one of the worst feelings in this sport.
Chantel lining up a forehand to get down to that bowl area.
Ooh, I think she was
That was
probably
early.
trying to go inside of that tree.
And that right side is just
not so good.
the worst.
So even though Kristin is a bit off the fairway, this looks good enough to give her an attempt at getting a birdie.
Definitely.
That's going to be a fairly open shot.
That's the best place to mistake is the far straight or left side of the fairway down there. It opens up the second shot. This right area where Chantel and Valerie both are, there's no way to get to the basket. You maybe can get up to circle 2.
You don't think Eveliina can get there from here? Where is she?
She's still
That's pretty good out.
Still not quite out of the gap, is she? Yep, they're down to the bowl finally.
Yeah, this is going to be a par play. Like it would have to skip 100 feet to get a putt. Oh man,
Oof.
hate this corner. Yeah, I really think the second shot, generally, you're trying to throw the forehand. If you have to go backhand, it can be pretty rough. Kristin did it as well as we could have seen, and this still isn't the easiest of shots here.
Definitely not. It's a technical forehand, but at least you can see the basket.
Totally.
Landing early where she did, she's going to have a challenging putt. She's going to have to maybe throw an Annie putt or, kind of a circus putt between trees.
I live for circus putts.
Me too. Chantel, a little bit of a late release this time, getting tangled up. She might have a long putt.
Valerie now throwing 5 and hits again.
Hole 9. Ugh.
Honestly, any of the wooded
It
holes.
just be like
You
that.
could say that about 4 through 12, and I'm like, yeah, man, yeah.
It's true. Yeah, Chantel's, not quite on the dance floor yet. Still having to throw another approach. This is a scary one because it is hard pan, and you can easily get a roll away or a big skip into some brambles.
There's a lot of, bushes right behind the pin, too, if you go deep. Even just 10 feet back there, and even that's going to be slightly awkward for Eveliina, and she's parked. Kristin, really narrow look at it, choosing to just go forehand and settle for the par. What were did you say the stats on this one?
No, a quarter of the field birdied this. There was
Nice.
13. That's crazy and awesome. It's doable.
But they were kind of going eagle play.
Yeah.
You only need to go straight. You see a lot of putters and mids off the tee, and they all went aggressive.
Eveliina still managing to hold on to a par.
Great scramble.
Valerie going to have to leave hole 9 with a double bogey.
Yep, that hurts. Kristin saves par as well.
Yeah, hole 9 and hole 17 on the back are just I would say the iconic beast holes that just can eat you alive, just round ruin.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the front 9.
Owen Scoggins 6 down through 9. Dang, girl.
Missy Gannon 5 down, 4 down for Ella Hansen. So look at these scores already. Just a quick little thing while we're looking at scores. We have some new shirts from JomezPro celebrating the 4-week, 1-month-long Texas Swing. Get yourself some JomezPro Texas shirts. This is where it all started. We got long sleeves and short sleeves. We love that. We have 9 more holes at the Beast. Tomorrow we have to go to Lake Waco and play a golf course.
Have to.
So come back and hang with us on the back 9 to see how many more birdies we can rack up. There's still, you can birdie every hole from here on out. So it doesn't stop being exciting.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
I'm Madison Walker.
We're the Two Hot Geese honk.